So yesterday, some fans will say that maybe the Bills look past New Orleans. I don't want to have the whole trap game conversation because that's all been blown up, and I'm not saying they were looking ahead to New England. Just, such a big favorite, Eric. And I wonder, because I kind of think that just does not happen. You guys are, maybe not everybody on every team, but so disciplined and, setting your routines and whatnot. You know who you're playing. You're prepared for them. But would you ever walk through that tunnel and feel like, this is going to be easy? I mean, I can't imagine it. So what do you say to people who, I'm not sure I'm right, I'm asking. What do you say to fans who might think, well, the Bills probably were just, they took the game lightly?
I don't think that's the case at all. I mean, obviously there's going to be some games that get you up more maybe emotionally than others. Maybe it's a guy that you absolutely hate and you're going against him that day. Maybe it's a AFC championship game for these guys now where emotionally you're almost saying I need to reel it back in and not go over and above to either wear myself out or do something stupid out there. Generally each and every week, I would maybe compare this to, okay, we're eliminated from the playoffs during my career because we were never a 2-touchdown favorite when I was playing for the Bills. So maybe it's a late game of the season. I'm looking at the film during the week. These are NFL guys. They can embarrass me. They could potentially ruin my job if I don't prepare and play to the best of my ability. And so I would assume that most of the players are of that mindset. The coaches are coaching each and every week to put their best foot forward to, Joe Brady doesn't call that 4th and 1 play thinking, I'm going to put this on film so that the Patriots have to prepare for it. And later in the season, we'll just go with the tush push or whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving their best stuff each and every week. Now, I do think there's times maybe where you're playing with a 2-touchdown league and you keep some stuff in the bag, or defensively, maybe we show them a pressure that maybe it's not that sound. This is an old New England thing. If they were ever up 2 scores late in the game, they would put stuff on film defensively that then you have to prepare for, but it's not really part of their game plan. They're just giving you stuff that now it complicates your next week as you prepare for them. So I think more of that happens in game as where you'd say, okay, maybe we don't show them everything. But look, when you only play 17 NFL games, every game matters. Every team has talent. Every team is playing for something. Even if you're eliminated from the playoffs, all the players are playing for their jobs. All the coaches are coaching for their jobs. And so trap games to me are a little bit overblown just in the sense, especially in the NFL, because every team has talent.
Right.
That 4th and 1 play, I don't know what you thought of that choice, but it was so close to working. Like, if Vandermark tripped on Osiris Torrance's leg and stumbled toward the guy he was supposed to wall off, if he doesn't trip, he's there in plenty of time. It's possible that guy still kicks his ass and makes the play anyway, I suppose. But, I think if he gets there upright, like ready to tango, that play might go for a big gain. It's certainly the first down easily.
Yeah, I mean, when you call a play like that on 4th and 1, that's not a, hey, let's get 2 yards type of play. This is on 4th and 1, and oftentimes in 3rd and 1 situations, you have plays like a quarterback sneak or a dive up the middle, which is let's get this first down, and then you have other plays in the game plan that are chunk plays. The safeties are cheated down. People are selling out to defend, an inside run or a quarterback sneak, and so you have a play that you can really chunk them with, and I think that's what they were doing there. I mean, I heard Adrian Peterson talk about when he had his 2,000-yard rushing season about 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s were his favorite because those are when the big plays can happen because the safeties are so low they can't necessarily take an angle on you if you can break through that second level.
Makes sense. So what else on yesterday for you? Another one of these games where there's not a lot of, big passing volume. It's not really necessary like the week before. Bills have had plenty of these games, but efficiency-wise seems pretty good. We'll get to the defense here, but offensively, anything that you thought was, maybe that you didn't like?
Yeah, I thought they had a great start, and then they hit somewhat of a lull where, either it was field position or penalties or Josh throws a pick or you put yourself behind the chains and then you give up 3 sacks. Obviously this isn't I can't remember the last time the Bills gave up 3 sacks in a game. I don't know this for a fact, but it might have been the game at Baltimore last year where they're playing from behind. But, to me, they've just been so good up front. And to me, you don't have your best stuff. You have bad field position for a majority of the game. The only turnover the defense forces in the game, you get the ball at your own 1-yard line, and they still put up 31 points. And to me, it's amazing that this team, maybe on their not best day, is still putting up over 30 a clip. And then each and every week, I become more impressed with James Cook. I legitimately think he's a top. If you let me choose a running back in the NFL right now, I don't know. I mean, maybe Saquon. I don't know who I'm necessarily taking over him. And, I mean, he is playing phenomenal football week in and week out, and just he takes a lot of pressure off, Josh having to perform each week for them to be able to put up serious numbers. And, while the defense has had its struggles, you've been able to rely on a run game to average over 30 yards a game.
Yeah. Are you worried at all about his usage, Cook? It is up from last year. Like a big part of the conversation around the contract extension that we spent so much time on in the spring and summer here, Eric, was, how much he plays, how much they count on him, and how much they like doling out the backfield duties the way they have been. And really, Davis is a ghost. I mean, Johnson is still in his regular role as the third down guy. Didn't get a lot of volume yesterday, like touching the ball, I mean. But Davis is really, really down. I just wonder about Cook, because he's not the biggest, heaviest dude, and I would want to be very mindful of his workload.
Yeah, it's kind of that give and take where, you use them to take pressure off Josh, and that also takes a lot of the risk on Josh potentially getting nicked up throughout the season because you're not running him as much. You're not relying on him to drop back and have these long developing plays down the field and potentially him getting dinged up. But, to me, he does a good job of not taking the big shots. I wouldn't put him on LaShawn McCoy's level, where I felt like Shady never took a big hit ever in his career. He just had an incredible knack for getting down when he needed to and then making a guy miss and lowering his shoulder when it was appropriate. And James has got a lot of that in him. But no, I'm with you. I mean, anytime that you're feeding a running back with the volume that they are, there's a risk. The adages about running backs falling off a cliff because of overusage is real for a reason. It happens. But I'm not overly concerned about it right now, I guess, is my main point.
Okay. You were correct in your comment that the Ravens' loss last year is the last game where Allen was sacked 3 times. Yeah, very good. His career high is, I think, 7. That's hard to believe, but He was sacked 7 times in the playoff win over the Dolphins that day, the Skylar Thompson game. Defensively, Eric, so fans can take, and the Bills themselves can take solace in the players that are missing, including those we haven't seen yet. But, man, if that doesn't help them, I don't know, 31st in the league in rushing yards against, first in passing, 31st in rushing. You've got that balance to talk about here, as we have over the years, passing being more important, but still, like, you don't want to be 31st in anything. Concerned?
There are some concerns, and we came into yesterday's game 32nd, and we gave up another 180-something. So who dropped behind us?
I think it's Chicago, but I'll double-check.
Wow, I would have bet against that today. I would have assumed we would have remained 32nd after yesterday. But
Genty lit 'em up.
There are some concerns. Now, you take in the opponents you faced, and, Baltimore's going to attack on yards on most people. Miami runs the football pretty well. Jets run, the prior week to playing us, the Jets ran all over the Steelers. And so are there some concerns? Yes. I think those young defensive tackles where they've made splash plays at time, they're getting displaced. You have Dorian Williams in for Matt Milano, and I think Dorian Williams plays really well at times. He's not the same quality player as Matt Milano. And then at times you've seen Bosa lose the edge. And I talked on One Bills Live earlier today about how At times, you're not that concerned about that because you want Bosa to play free out there and go make plays. And yes, he made the wrong decision going inside on a long run yesterday, but if he never does stuff like that, he's never going to make the splash plays. He's not going to put pressure on the quarterback like we've seen him do throughout his career. And so you have safeties that are learning still to play with each other. There's a lot of excuses you can make for this defense, but the tackling's been poor. And it was poor for the Saints yesterday, too. These guys don't play a lot in the preseason. They don't have any padded practices. They don't tackle hardly at all, ever, at practice and training camp. And we've seen tackling be an issue for this Bills team and throughout the league, since Sean McDermott's been here because of these lack of physical practices that we used to have in the old days. And I was joking with Steve Tasker, I understand you guys were a lot tougher in training camp than us, but it's just gotten so light now that you're seeing tackling issues early in the season. This Bills defense, I don't want to say they're built for finesse, but they are a faster, kind of lighter defense. So I've liked what they've done at times this year, bringing base defense on the field more often.
Yeah.
I've liked some of the packages with Walker and Daquan Jones and Ed Oliver's absent, where you put some more size out there, and get more of a stout inside of that defense. But the rush defense has been a concern for a few years now, and it's remained. Now, teams, and I don't know if it's a give and take either, where if you put up 30 points a game and a team's going to dedicate themselves to the run game, they're likely not going to be able to keep pace with you. And so, yes, it's a concern, but I don't think at this point it's not a concern to where I think it could derail our season.
Right. That's why it's always been smarter, I think, to prioritize. And I feel like I don't think Sean McDermott would tell you straight out they prioritize stopping the pass, but that's certainly how they've played.
Right.
Over the years, right? I'm even thinking back to the beginning of this run, the home game during COVID against Kansas City, where they just go ahead, run it, whatever, and that the Bills lost. That wasn't like an 8-point game in the fourth quarter. Like the Bills were in that game tactically playing that way. That was their choice because KC at that time was so explosive. I mean, it was everything was popping at that time in the league. So, how about Bishop and the play he makes there, Eric? Have there been signs here? You're watching every game from up high, and I'm sure reviewing it too. Are there signs that he's starting to come to the forefront here?
The answer is yes. And, that's a heck of a play, and that's a splash play. So that's what we talked about today. But I think he's making a number of plays a game that I'm getting more confidence in the fact that he could be a big-time safety in this league. And when he was drafted by the Bills, I'm friends with this position coach that he had at Utah, and he gushed about Cole Bishop. You're going to have a 12-year superstar, stud, Harrison Smith type from the Vikings, that type of guy, super athletic, this and that, and, had a rough year. And to me, even just his demeanor and some press conferences and media availability, just, he just seemed like he didn't have his full confidence in himself. It's just what I was observing, and I feel like he's getting that back, and that comes from making plays on Sunday, seeing yourself on film, making plays consistently, staying healthy like he's been able to do since the training camp time that he missed. And so, to me, I'm starting to see him play a lot more confident out there, and it's been fun to watch. And I mentioned it on the broadcast against the Jets on the Joey Bosa strip sack on the Justin Fields play. Cole Bishop comes down in the box. He's pointing and yelling to A.J. Epinesa on the other side of the field that it's coming over to him. A.J. Epinesa keeps his contain, and then Bosa forces the fumble. Well, Bosa gets credit for the sack and the fumble. We all praise him. Cole Bishop's the guy that's pointing it out before the snap. Your second-year inexperienced safety is pointing that out. So I've seen some more little things like that from him that is continually impressing me.
How do you happen, if I may ask, to be friends with the Utah defensive backs coach? Is there a Louisville connection?
Yeah, he was a coach at Louisville.
Okay. You said you watched at least some of Ravens Chiefs. Really bad day for Baltimore. I mean, just injuries, but Jackson, and then he himself gets hurt. Can you explain it?
It's hard to explain other than the fact that it seems like the Chiefs have their number. Steve Spagnuolo's got a. I mean, each and every year it seems like whether it's been playoffs or regular, they beat them at the last second last year in the opener of the season in Kansas City. But then it seems like whether it's been playoff times or whatever it may be, defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo's did a great job against that Ravens offense. And, the Chiefs had looked like they were on cruise control, that's for sure. And they turned it on yesterday. Patrick Mahomes was getting rid of the ball quicker, I felt like, and allowing guys to make plays in space. And it was an impressive performance by the Chiefs. And I had when we were on our way home from Sunny Reds, I had WGR on, and I just missed it. What did you guys say the playoff odds for the Ravens to make it are?
Today, minus 500.
Right. So, 1-3 football team that through 3.5 quarters against the Bills looked like an absolute juggernaut.
Yeah. And I guess the market is saying we still believe.
We still believe in you, yeah, and they're still favored to win the division, too. Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah, and, you got Cleveland, you have an injured Joe Burrow, which helps that, I guess.
Well, one more team I think you'll join me in hoping we see great performances from in the very near future is the Cincinnati Reds. In the playoffs against the Dodgers. I have a Reds World Series ticket. This is a tough one to hedge, Bulldog. Like, what am I going to go do? Bet the Dodgers? I mean, they're a huge favorite.
Yeah, that's
anyway.
that's no fun.
I will bet on the Reds in Game 1 though against Snell.
I love it. I love it. I'm just bitter, and I understand it. Like, in a 3-game series, it's hard to go across the country, but it irks me that I'm not going to be able to go to a Reds postseason game. But I love Terry Francona after the game. Actually, Johnny Damon's in town. Was in town for the Bills game yesterday. He'll be at our event tonight, and I was talking to him about Francona, and he's like, "Oh, because of Terry Francona, I'm now a Reds fan. Like, I am actively rooting for the Reds." That's how beloved, he was with those Red Sox teams, and still stays in contact with all those guys. And when Francona came in this offseason, and I'm probably boring a whole bunch of people in Buffalo right now, in Western New York, but when Francona came in this offseason, it signaled to me that they didn't get him out of retirement for the Castellinis to just sell off all their young talent like we've seen them do. And I'm excited that, we didn't unload people at the deadline. We didn't make huge moves, but we didn't unload people at the deadline. And hopefully we can build this thing because they got some awesome young talent right now. And we'll see in a 3-game series, anything can happen. But yes, the Dodgers are a big-time favorite.
Yeah, well, I was going to call you on your resignation here, not being able to see a Reds playoff game. You mean a wild card round game? Because after they beat the Dodgers, they will get home games, so you'll be able to go see them play.
There it is.
You're right. Bulldog, I like that mindset, brother.
Bulldog, are you still a Johnny Damon fan?
No, he went to the Yankees.
What about that team forever? I thought
no,
he broke the code.
He went to the Yankees. Okay. If he hadn't gone to the Yankees, I mean, please don't tell him this, Eric. But yeah. I mean, I loved him on the Red Sox, but you go put on those pinstripes and just get out of here.
He's a great dude. I met him at a Kentucky Derby when I was probably 25 or something, and we've stayed in contact. And he's got some buddies up here in Buffalo as well, in Western New York area. So, really good dude, and I love picking his brains on those old Red Sox stories.
Yep. Awesome.
He was talking at dinner on Saturday night we were talking about after they beat the Yankees to go to the World Series, and they all went in uniform and their spikes to the bar next to the stadium. And one of Johnny's buddies that plays in a band was playing there, and they're all going to go there anyways. And they said, "Screw it, let's just wear our uniforms and spikes and go right now." And they just went in uniform straight to the bar
in New York.
Wasn't that? Maybe I'm referring to a different series. They left one of their clinching games.
Okay.
There's that bar right outside of Fenway that you can look right.
Yeah, the cask and flag on. Yeah.
Yep, they walked right there and started drinking beers and partying.
Like that. Different if you did it on the road, but yes.
Yes.
Very good, Eric. Enjoy your night. Thanks for today.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
There you go. There's